All right, I have started the stream here. We'll see if it pops up on this other monitor over here. Let's see. It says waiting, but is it going to go? Find out in a second. I think I'm live. Don't know yet. Looks like it's starting. I'll tell you in a second if it is working. And it is the every other day drone practice currently. I'm probably going to do ZBrush tonight too. I'm going to probably do this for about an hour and then call it. I'm not going to run through the whole controller battery. Looks like it's going. I'm getting commercials on the other thing. Sorry guys for ads. That's working. All right. So we're starting the controller. It's really quiet. I turned the volume way down because when the battery warning comes on, it is obnoxious. So that is plugged in, and you'll get a little window like this to say okay to the USB joystick. There we go. We should be connected to this thing. I tried a different setting here to see if it'll go just to the Velocidrone page here. So before I just had it all Windows, which is fine because I could show stuff on my desktop, but like maybe I should just set up for the game. We'll try it, see if it works here. It's funny because it's like the game, even though it's minimized on my screen here, it shows at full screen. That's kind of cool. All right, so going to single player and continue. Now, I got the game on. I wonder if you guys can hear the sound now. Hey, how are you doing? Thank you for stopping by. Let's see here. We got, let me turn the sound on over here. Just to see what comes through. Before I just had it all Windows, which is fine because I can show stuff on my desktop. I can't tell. I can hear me again. So, all right, we're going to just fly around here for a little bit, keep practicing. I was in a bando last time. Let's do bando for a little bit. And then we will... Tequila Band. How are you? I'm doing excellent. Thank you for asking. Thanks for stopping by. I came on the other night, and it was the most dead one of my live streams I've ever done. I don't think anybody popped in to say anything. It was sad. But it's okay. I've still come on to fly anyway, so I'm going to be here. It gives me a little bit of an excuse to stay around. So... Alright, we're checking this out. We're just taking off, so whoa. Try not to crash here as much as possible. And it's interesting when I can see on my other monitor over here when there's a little bit of delay when I actually change screens. It looked funky for a second on the YouTube video. Whoa. And again, I am trying to keep my YouTube thumbnails. I'm trying to keep my YouTube thumbnails something new each time. And this thumbnail from my current video was a behind-the-scenes shot from the Rebel Moon, where I got to be that character, and you only see me for about a second, and I'm blurry. So they made that awesome mask and that crazy costume and had fittings and all that stuff, and you barely see me. And initially, I was supposed to be in a different mask. I was supposed to be a different character. And I actually got COVID right at the beginning of shooting for that. And then I was out for like the first 3 days of the shooting for the scenes that I was in, which sucked, but then a lot of the people that were in those scenes never even made it on camera, which is crazy because I spent like, I don't know, 2 weeks almost working on that scene, and just about everybody that was in there in their cool costumes did not get any camera time, which is real unfortunate. And the whole time I was stressing out because because I got COVID. And I don't know if you've seen the film or not. It's but there's a scene that's kind of like a cantina scene, so this bar scene, and that's the scene that we were filming on that week. Or basically, it stretched into 2 weeks, not 2 full weeks, but like over the course of 2 weeks, we shot probably 7 days or something total over 2 weeks, and we shot those scenes. The Monday I was supposed to, or we were coming in like the Thursday, the week before, Thursday, Friday, and then we'd be back like the next Monday or Tuesday. And at the time it was during COVID, I think it was 2022 when they were filming this. And I went to get the COVID thing just like you normally do. And I drove into Hollywood, get my COVID test done. And then right after my COVID test, I went for a run. And if you guys know, I had a knee surgery, and oh my God, I made it. I had a knee surgery, and my running had been affected by that quite a bit. So I went and got my COVID test, and then I went to Bronson Canyon, and I ran all the way up to the Hollywood sign. And I had my fastest time that I had since my knee surgeries. So feeling really good. And next morning I get up real early because the call time to be on set is like, I don't know, 7 in the morning. It's pretty early call time. And getting my stuff all together, and I was going to have to drive like, I don't know, 35 minutes up to Santa Clarita. This is right when we were moving, so it's probably like a few weeks before we moved into this house. So I was at my old house still. And get up in the morning, get all my stuff together, and during COVID times, you'd get your COVID test. It would send you like your results, and they'd send the results, and then you check them in the morning. Well, I'd always had negative results, so this morning, you already can see where this is going. I opened the COVID test, and I just glanced at it. I didn't really read it because I just sort of looked at it. I felt fine. Would never even assume I had COVID, but turned out I had COVID, and the production, they get a copy of your COVID results. So they called me, or they texted me actually, and they said, call us. And I call in, and they're like, don't come to set, you have COVID. And I was like, I have COVID. And I went and looked at my results, and sure enough, it said detected. And usually it says not detected, and it's kind of like a whole sheet with all your information, and then it's got a little gray box that says not detected. Well, on this one, that big old propeller. So I just glanced at it, saw a gray box, didn't even read it, and turned out I had COVID. So great. So I didn't go to set. So you're a great artist. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So I couldn't go to set for the first 3 days, and then the next week, when my COVID had cleared up by like the next, next Monday I had my test, and the next Tuesday I was back out there to shoot. Now in this time, they had to swap my mask. Like another person ended up having to wear my mask because the mask they fitted them for some reason wasn't working. So they gave them my mask, and so I had this other mask, the one that you see in my thumbnail there, and get that thing, they fit it all out, everything's good. And then they're like, okay, well, let's hang out here in the holding area until, we need you for a scene, which is pretty typical. Well, it turned out that the scene they were filming inside that bar, they had already shot a bunch of different angles. So they had filled out the bar with all the people. So they had established everybody that would be seen, all the camera angles. So they just weren't using me. So I sat in this tent, and they're shooting it at this place called Blue Cloud Ranch up in Santa Clarita, which is just like up in the middle of nowhere. And it was June, so it's real hot out. And we're outside, it's real dusty and gross, and I'm just in like a tent. And there's AC kind of pumping in the tent to kind of keep this sort of comfortable. But it's basically by myself because all the other people that were aliens for those scenes were all working inside that cantina. So I spent a bunch of time sitting in a tent. And I ended up hanging out with like the special effects people, the makeup people, and the people that make like the a lot of the specialty creature costumes and stuff. I ended up hanging out with them a bunch. But for days and days, they weren't using me, and they were just paying me to be there just in case. And they're like, well, we have a scene coming up outside, and we'll put you in that scene when that comes up. And I'm like, all right, whenever that is. And that kept getting pushed, yeah, we're moving it to the next day, and we're moving it to the next day. It took forever. And then they finally bring me in to shoot my shot, and it was like probably 12 minutes that I worked. They had this big rain machine outside to make it look like it's raining outside of this cantina. And then when all like the actors from the show basically come out of that bar after all their whatever they do in there, they come out, they're discussing some plans or something on the front porch, and I walk by in the background, and that's all you see me, that one shot, and I'm kind of blurry. So that was it, and that's why I got that umbrella, because I was about to walk through the rain. And then they're like, well, the next day we have another shot, we can bring you in. And because they had extended the days on that set, a couple of the other actors couldn't make it. There's another guy that was about my size, and they were talking about having me be in his wardrobe and his costume for that day. And then they're like, decided against it, because like, no, we don't want to wear you out because we think you're going to be in this next scene. Well, because they were so behind the next scene, they just ended up not filming it. They shot one angle and then they were done. So I just worked for 12 minutes on set for days and days and days. Worked for about 12 minutes. But my little blurry self did make it into the movie for a blip. So that was kind of fun. I did get to shoot on the second one as well. And that costume was really cool. Big giant alien head. This weird like long cloak, and very, very neat costume. And that shoot was pretty fun. And that one was also when that film came out, the part 2 of Rebel Moon, that whole scene was totally gone. And I was like, oh my God, not in the film. After it was such a cool setup. The set was amazing. They had like Carrie Elways, who's played Dread Pirate Roberts, or Wesley from Princess Bride. I got to work with him, which was really cool. The whole scene was gone. But when they released the director's cut version of the movie, which actually does improve the movie a bit, the scene was back in, so I got to see it. So there's like a scene with all these people going to greet the king and the princess and the queen, and there's 3 aliens there in that scene. Everybody else is people. There's 3 aliens in the scene, and I would be the last one in the line. So like if they're all headed toward the king to say hello, I'm the very last one in the batch, so you could pick me out there. That costume was very, very neat. And I got to work those days the whole time, which felt good. I don't like sitting around on set if I can help it. Much better to be doing something, even if you don't get seen very much. It's more fun to be part of it. So that was cool. And that's my story about Rebel Moon. Oh, and then the days when I worked with Carrie Elways, I didn't realize it was him. He had a beard and stuff, and he's older than anything. Like the last time I'd seen him in something was probably like Liar Liar or something like that. And I was talking to him. He was real nice, and I also didn't know that Carrie Elways' name, Wesley, was Carrie. Didn't know that. So we're chatting. He was really close to where I was at for the whole day. We're just talking about all kinds of stuff, and then he was real friendly. He goes, "Oh, I'm Carrie. This is so-and-so." He introduced me to like the woman playing the queen and the daughter, the princess, the young girl, and we were chatting about stuff. And then on the way back to wardrobe that night, I said, "Man, that guy looks so familiar." I couldn't place it, and I realized, like, is that Wesley from? I almost said Labyrinth because my brain goes there from Princess Bride. And I looked him up online, and saw his name was Kerry, and then I was like, oh my god, I just hung out with Kerry Always the whole day and didn't even know I was hanging out with Kerry Always. Didn't realize it was the same dude. Oh my god, almost made it through there. So anyway, that was exciting times. And that was my second Zack Snyder movie to work on. The first one was Army of the Dead, which I think I actually put an Army of the Dead thumbnail for one of my ZBrush sessions recently. Whoop. There goes my cat going upstairs all slow. What's Eddie doing? Yeah, so that was fun. And oh, I'm bumping into some stuff, but I haven't officially crashed out too many times yet. Wow. Oh my god. And then what else is next? I'm supposed to do a marathon this Saturday. I made a bunch of medals for it, which I'll show here in a second once I crash. And that'll be great, but I think I'm on the cusp of getting a cold right now, so I'm hoping that doesn't kick in, because that would make my marathon not very fun. And I'm also haven't trained for a marathon in months, so that's also going to make it real fun. Oh, I made it through this weird. All right, so now that I crashed out, here are the marathon medals. Hey, who's this? That was weird. I swear to God, I felt like a cat just brushed past my leg, but there's nothing there. Here's my medals I made for the marathon. This is the Wisdom Tree Trail Marathon. And I made a whole bunch of these. These are like the participation version of the medals. And then I made a big winner medal, which I did this in silver, but I might change it. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of just the silver here. Maybe if I do all the letters in silver, it'll look better. It looks off balance or something, but it'd be pretty cool. There's the size difference. So that's what I did for that. And it was, I think they came out pretty good. I think next year, those are just 3D printed, but I think next year I'm going to do them out of metal. And I want to get one of those OBS Studio disconnected. Uh-oh, there we go. Sorry, guys. I got dropped. My OBS Studio just dropped for some reason, but it says it's reconnected now. Let's see. There it goes. I don't know how much you guys missed out on there. But basically, I was saying that I was going to get one of these metal foundries so I can cast stuff out of aluminum. And I thought about making one myself. They're not terribly difficult to make, but the thing is they sell a kit for not very much money, and it'd be much more cost effective for me just to get the kit and start using it that way versus trying to build one, which would probably take me 3 months with the amount of time that I actually have to do that. So I don't even know if I'd save that much money, honestly, too. The kit's only about, I don't know, $200. I could probably get like a basic setup, start casting things. And if I was going to cast stuff out of aluminum, I would probably do a lot of 3PO parts that I have. I'd like to do aluminum versions. But initially I was like, I can just make wax castings from my molds and then do like plaster molds. But the thing is, the aluminum has like a pretty decent amount of shrink, so I kind of have to do some math and figure out how much shrinkage there is in the aluminum so that I can create the parts large enough so that after the aluminum shrinks, the scale is still appropriate, and go from there and have accurate sized pieces. And I'd probably cast some pretty chunky pieces, like I would love to do 3PO shoulder rings, just cast them out of aluminum. I think that would be pretty neat. And I've been saving tons of aluminum cans and scraps and stuff for the last probably year and a half. I've been like hoarding them away, so I just have like way too much crap that's metal that I intend to melt down and make into stuff, but currently it just looks like garbage. Currently it is garbage, but it will be recycled. I feel like the drone skills are definitely improving. I mean, look at that. I mean, geez, feeling pretty good. Oh my god, except as soon as I talk about it, I wipe out. All right, where are we going? Oh, made it inside, but crashed it out. Let's see here. Excuse me. So yeah, gonna do aluminum casting. That'll be fun. Next year's race medals will be aluminum, and I'm just making them out of recycled stuff. That'll be pretty cool. And I feel like these medals came out pretty good. Let's look at them again. It looks like a legit race medal. It's pretty neat. And again, they're just printed. They're actually printed in green ABS, just because I had a whole bunch of it around, and I don't use ABS too much for my prints. And this is one of the duds. It kind of didn't stick to the bed right, so I didn't paint it. But I just did a paint job on them. Well, they're pretty good. I might give them another pass with a little bit lighter gold, like rub and buff, just on the fronts of the letters, just to brighten it up a tiny bit. But otherwise, I think they look pretty good. I did a dirt pass on them with some acrylic paint, wiped it off, and then I did a little bit of like aged or antique gold rub and buff over that, which I feel like works pretty well. Oh my god. I feel like the antique rub and buff works pretty well. But yeah, pretty cool. So I'm hoping that doing some of these, I could probably get some jobs making race medals for people. And I would like to do them more, boutique style than the ones that they get at the really big races. They'll order from some factory that just stamps out tons and tons of them. But it'd be cool to get some where they're, if it's like a smaller race, like 100 people or less kind of thing, and then do them as like, part of the thing is that the medal is handmade. And I think that'd be pretty cool. And I figure if I'm doing the aluminum casting, I've been watching about a bunch of tutorials on that. I could probably run like, I don't know, at least 5 at a time in the molds. So probably close to 10 depending on how I set them up. And once I get that down, doing 10 sets of 10 metals, and then it shouldn't take too long, and then I can just buff them up on a bench grinder or polish them, and that should look real nice. And give them like, like a bath and some like oil paints or some inks or something. Basically, you can thin out oil paints a bunch and dunk them, and when they dry, you buff off everything else, and then you get that weathered look in the crevices. It looks really good, I think, in my opinion. All right, let's go. There's another building around the corner here. Where is it? Ah, there we go. Let's go over this way. Explore this place. Oh no. I did not mean to go through that opening in the wall. That was luck. Again, I don't know. The way I hooked this up this time, where it's just connected to the game versus before you were just seeing my desktop, I don't know if you guys get the sounds in here, but oh dang it. The interior sounds are pretty cool. Kind of sounds echoey, like you're really in a building, like a big open space. Can I get in there? Yeah. Like the way the sound design works on here, even though it's pretty low res graphics and stuff, just to keep everything rolling quickly. The sound design is simple, but it's effective. Oh, dang it. And they can hear that. Somebody in a loud car outside my house doing donuts or something, having a street takeover. All right, let's go back to that other abandoned building. That was pretty fun. Uh-oh, my phone just made a noise. Oh my god, I made it. That was sketchy. Oh, all right. So I think I'm also going to be, looking at a good goggle setup. I think I'm going to try to get some cheap used like analog goggles, because so many of those the cheaper tiny whoop drones just run on they have like analog video transmitters, and I feel like I could get started with some of those and then figure out if I'm going to do the DJI or go to HD0 or what goggles I'm going to go with. I really have no idea currently. I feel like right now I would be comfortable to fly a real one around. I'm not good yet, but I feel like I'm getting to the point where I'm not constantly crashing until I try something ridiculous, where it's just getting around. I think I am feeling very, very confident about. And then, but when I try to pass through places or, shoot through like little gates and stuff, is when I end up crashing. Evening, man, I'm lurking. Hey, Devin, thanks for stopping by. I don't know what you've heard me talk about so far, but I've been rambling a lot, as per usual. I told my wife that this is like not that terrible for me, because basically when I'm home alone, I talk to myself a bunch anyway. So I just do that, and then I just pretend that someone might hear me, and then I'll just chat, and it works great. Oh, dang it. See, I got really proud of myself there for that maneuver I just did. And then I got too excited. When I passed through the one side, let's try that again. I'll go through here, up through here. I'm not good. Those dives I'm not good at. The fact that I made it through that the time before, I got really excited. I was like, oh my God, I did it. And then I panicked. I didn't expect to make it further than I did. So, when I messed up, it was because my brain was like not ready to be like that. I wasn't ready to keep flying. I thought I was done. All right, let's try it again. So what I do? I went in here. Oh, bouncing off the ceiling. Oh, I already messed up. Oh God. All right, let me try this again. I'm gonna back up. And down. Oh my God, I made it. And up. Oh. Not enough gas. Way open, but lots of nooks and crannies. Oh yeah, exactly. This one's pretty fun. I still think that the Apocalypse board just has the most stuff, but this one has like a lot of those little spaces that are flying indoors kind of things, where I have to worry about the ceiling height, which I'm not good at yet, as you can tell. Like I think half the time I've been crashing here. It's because I'm crashing into the ceilings. Oh, golly, can I make it? There we go. All right, super chill hover and then out, and then let's go back down to this one. Oh my God. What time is it? All right, I've been on for almost half an hour already. So, like I said, I think I'm probably going to do an hour tonight and then try to switch over to ZBrush, because I got a couple projects I need to jam on. I got finally set up like paid levels on my Patreon page, which I had not set up until yesterday. So I got to make sure I got some stuff on there to make it where it's worthwhile to be a Patreon member. So I'm gonna get a couple pieces up and figure out how to like get files up there, and how to keep them, I don't know, available for my members. And then I think I'm gonna do C3PO shorts, like probably a couple versions, but I've got a scanned version that I want to put up there. And I feel like I could have that. I mean, I've pretty much printed one for myself already, so I know it'll work, but I want to just do a little bit of TLC to the files before I post them. And I feel like I get those up there, and then I want to do all the files for my C3PO leg lamp, which I made a really pretty happy with the base I just designed. It goes together like a toy kit or something. So I got to finish out a 3PO leg and a R2 dome, which I'm essentially custom doing as a lamp part. So it won't be using one of the existing R2D2 models. I'll be using like my own model, but it'll be accurate to scale. It'll just be designed to print in a way that will work for the lamp effectively. Awesome. I'm sure you will do great with it, man. Thank you very much. I hope so. I think it'll be cool. And it's the I've got 50 projects started and a lot of projects that people are interested in. And if I have people that are on there, it definitely makes it more of a priority than if I'm just doing them for fun. I just don't have much time for that. But if it earns me a little bit here and there, then the more it earns me, the more time I can invest in it, if that makes sense. So we'll see. And I got some ideas for a bunch of other stuff too. So I just got to get myself, get some stuff rolling on there. I've got my C3PO shorts, EV99. I mentioned in one of the previous ones, I'm working on RoboCop, as a costume and or a statue, depending on which one. That one's early phases, but I've got really, really good reference measurements off the real suits. I got to do some restoration work on a real suit. Actually, 2 of the real helmets, 1 of the full suits, and then some pieces of some of the others, some other pieces for some RoboCop suits. So I got good reference photos of everything. And I think that'll be a good one to have. I'm doing Tweaky from Buck Rogers. And that'll be pretty good. I'm sure you do great. As I stand next to my R2, I think everyone needs an R2, but I'm biased. I think everyone does need an R2 as well. I've been slowly building an R2 since 2012, for 12 years. And it's very low priority, but I've got a dome, I've got legs, I've got a frame that's probably going to get replaced. I have all of the greeblies for R2. I don't have any of the internal components, any of the drive motors or anything. I don't have feet yet, but like I said, I've got every greebly, and I have molds for every single greebly. Yeah, I've got, do I have 2 domes? I might have 2 R2 domes. I can't remember. I think I sold one a while ago. I got to check. But the R2, I love R2, and I feel like you almost have to have 2 astromech droids, because if you're going to build one, it almost needs to be an R2. But it's so cool to have astromech that's, custom at the same time. And I feel like I have a 3PO. I got to have an R2, or it just won't work. I've seen some of your videos, and one about made me fall over because of how much I love that robot. TikTok from Return to Oz. Oh my God, yeah. So did I show you the TikTok? Man, I have a bunch of pictures from that. That TikTok is, first of all, one of my very favorite movie robots. I don't know if you were here when I was talking about it the other night, but I did the one that I had at the house, I was doing restoration on, and it is screen use. It is one of the real TikTok robots. And that is another one that I'm going to be building. Again, I've got crazy amount of measurements off of the real thing, like interior, exterior, all the stuff. So I will be doing a TikTok, and it'll be accurate in a lot of ways. And I learned a lot about that thing, because again, it was in my house for like a year and a half, and I was working on it. So I took the whole thing apart. I disassembled all the interior, how the arms work and everything. I took all that stuff apart, so I got to really know that costume, which it is a costume, or I guess you could call it a puppet, but it's a guy was inside of it. is very, very cool. It's so amazing how you touch it. I'm so jealous. Dude, so first of all, again, one of my favorite ones since I was a kid. I love that thing. And when I got approached about doing the work on it, now the guy that got it, he bought it from somebody that I don't know how they got it, but they repainted it, and they just did a terrible job of repainting it. So I basically had to strip it down and repaint the whole thing, and very, very carefully. It took a long time, but right before I got the one to work on, I got to see another one. So I'd seen 2 of their Screen Use TikToks in under a month. I went to the Lucasfilm archives with Regal Robot to work. We're working on one of the multiple things for Regal Robot, but Regal Robot goes to the archives relatively often to get reference for the items they do, because they're like a Lucasfilm licensed. They make all kinds of collectibles and so forth, and they're all licensed. A lot of them are scanned off the original props. So we'd gone to the archives to get reference photos for something, and there was a TikTok there, and I already was about to go to pick up the other TikTok to work on. So I was like, holy cow, there's one here. So I took all these reference photos of that, and then I don't know, maybe 2 weeks later, I went and picked one up. So that was kind of crazy. Just I felt extremely lucky to even see one, and then just to get to see 2 in such a short period of time was wild. Was puppeted by a guy walking on his hands. Now he wasn't on his hands. He was standing on his feet, but he was curled over. So he was probably close to my height. I'm 5'10". I think the guy was close to my height, but he's curled up. He is standing on his feet, but he's basically curled over, and he's looking at a monitor that was between his legs. And so, I don't know, let me see how much you can see here. Let's crash this drone real quick. I'll switch it over. So he was like this, and this is going to be ridiculous. He was leaned all the way over, crunched like that. I just hit my head on the chair, perfect. And his arms were wrapped around himself like this, like he was kind of bear hugging himself to reach the arm mechanisms that control the arms, so the arms could move inside. There's a little handle and that you could turn like this, that have bearings in there. The whole thing rotates, and then if you squeeze it, the arm would lift up like this. And so he could wave his arms or rotate them like this. But he was doing them reverse, so his right hand's working the left arm, vice versa. And he was looking at a little monitor, not even what the robot was seeing, but what he was seeing on the monitor is what some camera from somewhere else in the room was seeing. So he had to do all that. If you watch the performance in the movie, it's very, very good. It's crazy how much he moves around in that crazy position. But apparently he could only be in there for about 2 minutes at a time. So they would, get ready to shoot. They would quick pop him in there and close it up, and he would do the scene, and then they would rush over and take him out. And the one that was there that I had at the house, it had all the straps inside and everything that they used to hold it up while he was inside of it. And it was super neat. I really, really wanted to get in and try it, but the legs had gotten pretty fragile because the spring parts are on the legs. They were made out of some kind of, it looked like they heat bent some resin tubes or something to get the shape, and they had started to deteriorate, so they're just too fragile to mess around with. And then the fabrics inside were also really old, so I never attempted to put it on. But I did start to model that model TikTok, and it is to scale, accurate. Everything is accurate. So that will be probably a Patreon thing as well. And the one that I did a restoration on, some of the parts that you see were not on when we got it. I did replacements for some of the pieces. So I did the mustache, I did the eyelids because it was missing the eyelids, the mustache, the nose, like a lot of the parts for the head were missing. So I remade those pieces and remade those. What else did I make? The chest logo I recreated because it was missing on the back, the little winder keys. It had one of the originals, and then I recreated the other ones, the other two. But all the ones that are on it currently are the replica ones, and then all the original parts that were like that, we put in a little box and kept them separate. Same with the hands. It had like a little more than half of the fingers, and I took all of the original fingers off and then put on replica fingers because it's one of those things that could get broken or get lost, and I figured it'd be just safer to keep the real ones separate and then have the replica ones kind of, just available. Let me see if I got pictures of that really quick. Let me see here. Hang on. I'm going to switch over here, and I'm going to look for a second. Let's see what I got. We can talk about it if I got some. I might have photos of when I was working on it. I saw some pictures of it the other night, but I can't remember. I can't remember if they were just when they were finished or if it might be in here. Let's see. Got some pretty good prop pictures in this. I can't show all of them. Let's see. Do I have TikTok pictures? I got Robocop pictures in this folder. I don't want to switch over yet because it's like this folder's full of stuff, and some of the stuff I cannot show. So I don't want to, oops, let me just shut the folder. That's smart. I thought I was shutting the picture, and I shut the folder. Okay, let's see. Sorry guys, this is going to be the most boring part ever. Yeah, I got like a lot of reference photos in here. Let me see. I'll come back to it. I think what I'll do is I'll try to like set them aside next time, and then when I come on the next time, I'll have them ready to go so we can look at them, because that would be cool. But currently, I gotta do that. Mind the NDA. What are the emerald eyes made of? Was the instructions plaque still on him? Yes, had the instructions plaque. I'm trying to think if I did a recreation of that. I had the plaque on the back of him. It was no. He had the plaque. And the plaque was actually the only spot on the thing where when the people had repainted it, they painted it some god awful like copper, like bad copper paint that they used on there. And when they painted it, they painted over everything, just like sprayed it. And when we took that plaque off, you could see the original gold finish, which is what I used to match the color. So yeah, he had the instructions plaque that was on there, and again, he had one of the keys. So I recreated all the keys, and they're exact matches. Like I used that one for reference, so it's perfect. And on one of my videos, I did a comparison of all clad in Duralumin, I think, and I have these little like spherical pieces. Those were the key plugs for TikTok, and they're on one of my videos from a couple years ago. The eyes in this one were made out of glass. And what's weird is I don't think they were the original eyes, but they looked production made, if that makes sense, where it looked like they looked really right. And they were very like, the ones that were there, they were glass, but they had a weird flange around the edge of them that I don't think the original ones would have had, just because the way the eyelids worked on the screen used ones. I can't imagine that they would work with that flange the way they were. So I don't know. And sometimes that happens where they'll make stuff for the production. They'll make 3 or 4 versions, and the ones that are on screen and some of the other ones that are made are like, they just are a little different, but they are definitely made. I don't know. I'm not saying these were made at the same time, but they look correct. So, but they were glass. The ones that they had, they were definitely glass. And again, the color of them and everything like matched really well to the movies, but I just don't like the way the eyelids work. I don't think that those were the original eyes. Good example of the production made thing is I've got some random like jumpsuit costumes from Ender's Game, and two of the ones I have, I'm almost positive are like pre-production outfits. Like I don't think they were used on screen. They look almost like they were, making test versions of the different officer outfits, and the material's a little bit different, and they're exact same stitching, same weird little like magnetic cufflinks and everything, but they don't match anything. I watched the movie again to see if it was like background janitors or something that had some similar thing, and I don't know what the deal was, but they're definitely from Ender's Game. So I got more stuff from the film, and it was just, they're like strange ones. I think they were just like test ones that they did. I still remember 5 years old and Dorothy walking down Mama's Hall of Heads, thinking, wow, that's strange. The 80s were wild for kids. Yeah, oh my God, I know. They would show you all kinds of stuff, and it was like, what did I just... they would definitely like have stuff that was scary, like it's going to be scary. Kids are going to watch this and they're going to be scared. And nowadays, this is not like that. Like, oh no, kids going to have nightmares. We can't show them this. But I'm like, that's half the stuff that made being a kid in the 80s so fun. And those moments, you forget them. It's like, Never Ending Story when Atreyu's horse sinks into the swamp. That's like totally messed up. And I saw a meme the other day. It was like 80s kids trauma starter pack, and it had like, Secret of Nim and Never Ending Story and E.T. when E.T.'s, they find him in the river. Man, those shots stick with me to this day. They're so, oh my God, like it's traumatic. What was the other one? They had a couple other ones on there. But it was really funny. It was and very accurate too, because all those scenes I remember so clear. Oh. Can I make it? Oh, nope. Crashed it. Not the horse. Artax! Fight the sadness. Artax, stupid horse. Yeah, that whole part's so sad. You see him walking without his horse. Oh my God, it is the worst. Oh. Yeah, that the 80s kid movie trauma pack, whatever it was pretty funny. I'm trying to think of what films these days would take it that far. I can't think of anything recently. I mean, I thought in Jamie, some of the lines in kids' movies couldn't be used. Oh my God, no kidding. Oh yes, Secret of Nim. Yep. I love the Secret of Nim, and I mean, it was so good. It's like the part when their house is sinking in the mud and everything. Oh my gosh, that was. I think that was one of the first movies I saw as a kid that like really kind of like choked me up. I was like, oh no, the little kid is sick. And you think, oh yeah, it's totally messed up. Oh dang it! Oh, I didn't crash out. Trying to think what other ones are really good. Secret of Nim. What was the other one that came out right around that same time? There was like, I feel like within that time it was like Goonies, Secret of Nim, Never Ending Story. And again, I can't remember the exact year, but I feel like in my kid brain from back then there was like a handful of movies that all seemed to go together. Explorers, Flight of the Navigator. What's crazy is when I was a kid, they filmed Flight of the Navigator about probably like a year and a half after I moved, and I used to live in Coral Gables, Florida, and they filmed the opening scenes of that movie in Coral Gables. And there's like the scene when the kid from Flight of the Navigator, he falls in this little ravine. That ravine is right outside of this place called Vizcaya. It's a really amazing, like giant mansion, something like a small castle, right on like Biscayne Bay. And they quarried all the limestone to build that house out of this, I don't know, this ravine. They made basically like a moat around the place. So when he falls down that thing, it's this ravine around Vizcaya. But when I was, dude, Close Encounters freaked me out too. I hated those damn aliens. Watership Down. Yep, that was another good one. In Flight of the Navigator, I had moved up to a town called Hobe Sound, Florida, when I was probably 6, and in second grade or so, my friend Richie Johnson and his sister Julie had moved. Richie was older, and Julie's like a year younger than us. And Richie was in Flight of the Navigator. And I didn't know him when we lived in Miami, but he also lived in Coral Gables. He actually lived kind of close to my old place, but I didn't know him at the time. And there's a scene in the movie when they drop the brother off, disconnected. Sorry guys, I got it blipped out for a second, my OBS studio, so I don't know what the heck you heard, but in case you didn't hear it, the whole punchline was that my friend Richie Johnson was in that Flight of the Navigator, and he was the kid that, the main kid from the film, his brother takes a water gun from him at this party at the beginning, right? Like they drop the brother off at a party, and then that's the last time the brother sees the kid who leaves in the alien spaceship, who basically doesn't age and was gone for a long time, but he shows back up, he's still a little kid. His brother's all grown up. Anyway, so my friend Richard Johnson and Julie Johnson was in it as well, which is very weird. I was very jealous of them at the time. Last Starfighter was around the time. That's right. Also, speaking of Last Starfighter, now I live up in Antelope Valley, and there's one of the roads that I can take to get to my house. It's not, if I don't want to take the freeway, I could take Sierra Highway, or I can take Soledad Canyon. And Soledad Canyon is the actual, like the convenience store from Last Starfighter is on that road. So where that game was set up outside, and it has this little trailer park that he lived in, that whole place is right off Soledad Canyon Road. I'll drive by it kind of often. And they also on Soledad Canyon, they filmed a lot of movies there, but if you ever seen Steven Spielberg's first movie, Duel, that was also filmed off Soledad Canyon. And if you go like right from Sand Canyon Road over to Soledad Canyon, maybe like 2 miles into the canyon, there's the tunnel, and they literally call it the Duel Tunnel. And there's one of the Duel posters where you can see the truck like through the tunnel at the other end, and it's just like all dark, and then the light at the end, and you see that the truck, and it's that tunnel. And I think, pretty sure that was Steven Spielberg's first like actual movie. Okay, I'm off for the evening. Have fun and stay steady. Thank you very much for stopping by. I'm probably going to be here for another 5 minutes or so. Anyway, there goes my phone with my 5-minute warning. So should get another one here in a minute. So almost an hour. It's not too bad. That's cool. My pops grew up in Woodland Hills. They're kind of familiar. Yeah, Woodland Hills is that's not too far from where I used to be. Actually, like when I would ride my bike down to like if I was going to cut through Santa Monica Mountains, I would end up going through Woodland Hills. Well, everything got like kind of crazy over there with all the fire stuff. And I know it didn't burn, but I think everybody over that area had to evacuate recently. And the fire was like coming through the hills in a sketchy way. Oh, wasn't going to make it. And oh, look at this. It's so funny because like I have the live stream running on another computer right next to me, so I can kind of just monitor it. And there was an ad came on, and I'm sure you guys probably see different ads than I see, but it was for I don't know what the hell it was for, but it was the guy that played Doogie Howser, Patrick. Oh my God, what's his last name? Doogie Howser, MD. He was in like the Harold and Kumar movies. Oh my God. And back through. All right. Rippity zipping it. There we go. All right. Almost there. I'm trying to think what project I'm going to pick up because, like I said, in a little bit, I'll probably come back on and do ZBrush or something and hang out some more, but I got to get some more productive stuff going. I have been reading my Part 107 study guide for my drone license stuff. So I think I'm going to... oh, yeah. Neil Patrick Harris. That's it. That's right. Thank you. Which hill did I go over? That's that one. Yeah, I'm going to do my... I think I'm going to read. I'm going to narrate the study guide for the drone license stuff. Oh man! Oh my God! Oh my God! I almost got, yeah, Neil Patrick Harris. That's what it is. I left out a bunch of names. God, that felt like that entry to this building just felt like the entry to the trench in Star Wars. There's something about the movement just totally felt like that. Let's try that again. Oh, I just caught the power lines. Great. And over. Oh my God. Oh my God, I made it and it didn't crash. Oh my gosh. Thing is, when it's dark in there, you start turning and then you can't see where you're going. So it's like, I don't know if I'm correcting it or it's like I haven't fully crashed yet, but I'm just literally just in the dark. Ooh, God, that was a hard landing. Oh, like that. Good luck on the license. I got my small US certificate and it was easy. Oh, that's cool. I feel like that's what I'm doing is the Part 107 thing. So if I can technically, post my drone videos because apparently they're not so bad about it now, I guess, but they used to be pretty strict about if you're posting videos on YouTube of your drone stuff and your videos were monetized, they could come after you for that. And I'm trying to make sure that that's all good because I could do on top of stock videos or whatever for wherever, I could just monetize all my drone content and on top of every other way I could sell. Oh shit, UAS is stupid autocorrect. No worries, man. Yeah, it is. I guess it's worth getting. I mean, it's definitely worth getting, but to try to be official and sell my services to people, I really got to make sure I have it set up correctly. And again, I'm doing all this FPV practice because I would like to offer cinema drone and FPV, which oh my God. So if I can get this down where I can just get around without crashing into everybody, think it'd be pretty good. But the setup, what's funny is like with the drone setup stuff, the most expensive part seems to be the goggles. Like once I get goggles, like the other stuff isn't so bad. But the goggles are such an investment that it's like I don't want to buy a cheap set and then have to buy another expensive set anyway. But I also don't want to buy an expensive set and feel like I got the wrong ones. So I kind of got it down between the DJI ones, which are apparently very good, but I see a lot of people using HD0 as well, and HD0 has what do you call it, the modules, so you can run like analog and stuff with the same goggles, which I don't think that the DJI has. So I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So I'm just trying to learn this stuff as I go. Oh, there goes my alarm. All right, I'm gonna fly until I crash out, and then I'm gonna call it, and it'll get set up to do some ZBrush here, and then oh, that was it. That was my crash. All right, let's switch over here. Boom. That's it for now. Anyway, thanks for stopping by for my hour drone practice. Actually, when I'm chatting, that was pretty effective. I felt like I had quite a few decent runs today, and that's good. So, all right, let me go figure out what to do with ZBrush. I'll probably be back in like 45 minutes and just be ZBrushing stuff. If you guys want to come back, come hang out. It'd be awesome. Thanks for stopping by, and this is great practice, but real airtime is good. It definitely is. I just want to make sure I get my stupid skills up a little bit more before I just destroy a $120 drone or more, depending on what I get, but don't want to lose GoPro out in the woods either. So anyway, thanks for stopping by. I'll be back in a little bit. See you kids soon. Later.